Even though I graduated 3 years ago, I somehow have started to feel like a college kid with an undecided major. So what do I mean by a college kid with an undecided major? Well, think back to that time. You may have been in college, or maybe some of your friends were, and they entered because the adults in their lives told them to, but they didn't really know what they wanted to do with the rest of their existence. They had a plethora of options before them, a couple of good suggestions, I'm sure, but they still couldn't quite pick what to do. So they enter college undecided. They've got 1, maybe 2 years to take some gen eds, but realistically they're supposed to be figuring out what they want to do so they can start taking those classes, but they're not figuring out what they want to do because it's too stressful to start taking those classes. And so they're just undecided, even though they're paying all of the money to leave with a specific degree. That's how my life has started to feel pretty much. I feel like I'm supposed to know what I'm doing, and I'm supposed to have a goal that I'm working towards, but I'm just here vibing, taking my gen eds until one day it's too late to take my gen eds and I end up majoring in communications because I didn't know what else to do. I wasn't always like this though. I was lucky, I guess, enough to skip that experience my first time through college. I've known ever since I was little that I loved art and that it's been a focus of mine. Pretty much in middle school was when I would say I really kicked it off, but I have found old kindergarten drawings that my art teacher ranked well and said I was above the rest of the class in learning the concepts of staying in the lines. So it's always been a thing for me, but really in middle school, so when I discovered Mark Curley's YouTube channel, started watching drawing tutorials, and really worked on continuing to improve myself. So when I made it to high school, I was ready to take the AP art classes. I ended up getting 2 APs, AP drawing and AP design, I believe. And I knew when I went into college I wanted to do something creative, but I felt like I needed to be realistic. I needed to be an adult. I wasn't going to go to college and just study painting to become a gallery artist. I wanted to make the money-ola. I wanted a surefire career where I would get hired and have a job and a 401k and feel safe. So I decided to study animation. And everybody at the time told me that that was so cool. All the adults who knew nothing about it, they just said it was cool and it sounded really fun. It was a growing industry, so it was a great idea. My teachers all hyped me up. My professors in college all hyped me up. I was the top of most of my classes, so it was believed that I would go on to do great things. I went on and I did some things, wouldn't call them great though, at least not as far as animation is concerned. Every single year, because I would watch YouTube videos of people who are overachievers, like being like, oh, well, you know, they say internships are reserved for juniors and seniors in college, but I interned with Google my first 6 minutes in college. So every single semester of every single year, I applied to every single internship that I could find. Animation is a limited industry in America. It pretty much only exists at this point in California and Atlanta and like a few other studios elsewhere, but it's like 1 or 2 studios. So really California and Atlanta are where you're going to want to go. So I was applying to just about every single company in those 2 states. Eventually I started applying worldwide as well because I just wanted to get an internship, and I never did. And then after college, I went on to apply to all of those same companies for jobs. Hundreds of applications. I stopped counting after 400, but hundreds of applications. I went to career fairs and events. I went to animation conferences and networked with higher ups and tried to use that networking to get me jobs. I networked on LinkedIn. I would get referrals for jobs. I did everything that you're thinking of. I had resume reviews, I had portfolio reviews, like whatever you're thinking of, like, oh, you needed to try this. I tried that. I tried that multiple times. I did literally everything. And I never got a single interview. Not even one. The person? No, never got that. And so my animation dreams seemed to shrivel up and die the moment they got started. And after a while, I had to make the conscious decision to give up on animation, because realistically, you could just keep going until the end of time. You could just keep applying. But at some point, I decided to accept that it wasn't going to happen for me and move on to greener pastures. Well, I call them greener. And there's a couple of reasons why I decided to do this, and it's the same reasons that still have me not quite sure where my career is supposed to be taking me. I've learned through actually experiencing adulthood, actually having bills to pay, actually having this life to live, I've learned that your career is a lot more than just your job title. You know, it sounds prestigious and cool to say I'm a director, and it's a lot more than just what you do every day. I felt like I would enjoy being a storyboard artist because I just get to draw all day, and I was already doing that anyway, so I may as well get paid for it. But there's actually more to it than that I hadn't fully considered when I was young and when I didn't know the things that I know about myself now. Your career comes down, yes, to your title. You want something that is going to make you feel good. Unfortunately, we exist in a world with other people and we want to be perceived well by them. So if Garbage Man doesn't really sound that prestigious to you, you're probably not going to enjoy that career and feel like a bit of a failure while you're doing it. It's not just the things that you do every day. Maybe you would really enjoy whatever job you were thinking of. But it's other things around the job. It is things like the money that it brings you. That is something that I did consider in my college days, but a lot of people are only just now starting to put more thought into that because of the crazy hyperinflation that we've continued to see since COVID days. It's the money that your job brings you and the lifestyle that money is allowed to afford you. It's the location you have to be in for your job. If you work in entertainment or fashion or some kind of niche industry like that where you can only be in a few places, knowing I can only be in a few places might change your mind about that career. It is the time that you have to put into your work. Are you the kind of person who likes work-life balance and wants to be able to clock out right at 5 every day regardless? Then you're probably not going to do too well as a lawyer. They have a lot of hours. It is also considering the freedom that your job grants you in general. Do you get to have that work-life balance? Do you get to live anywhere? Do you have enough money to live the life that you want to live? Do you have bosses that are going to be micromanaging you? Are you able to come up with your own projects for the company and put your own thoughts into it? It's a lot of different things that make up a good career, and I realized a lot of those things animation wasn't going to bring me. I would always have to live in LA or Atlanta. I wouldn't be able to just leave when I wanted to. I wouldn't have the freedom to work specific work hours. I would be expected to take on overtime. That's something I've learned I'm not really too into. I like having my me time. I would theoretically, my professors told me that I would be making good money, but I would be making good money and be trapped living in Burbank or West Hollywood, so it wouldn't really translate to much. It just wasn't going to give me the other things in life that I was craving. And it was also just the fact that it was going to take so much more effort and so many more, it seemed like, years of applying to basic entry-level jobs to try and scrape my way into the industry. And as post-2020 has shown us, it would have been continuing to scrape and try and claw my way into a job for years after that, regardless of how much experience I had. And I just wasn't interested in it. So I let go of the dream that I had had for 8 years, and now I have to pick a new one. And I'm just not quite sure. I feel like right now I've done a series of jobs, right? So once I gave up on animation, I ended up working as a graphic designer / print production project manager. Then I worked as a production assistant, graphic designer. Like I just did like little random things that they wanted me to do essentially. And now I'm a project manager in marketing. I've just been ping-ponging around. So although they're all the start of a career, I haven't advanced in any of them. So I'm really just working jobs. And I don't have a career path at this point. And I'm not sure I'm ready to have one. I still think of a few other jobs that I'd like to try. And I really want to move up in my career because I want to be mid-level. I want to be making more money. I want to continue to learn. I've learned that I like learning. Turns out doing it the whole first 15 years of your life makes you get kind of attached to it. So I want to continue to grow in one thing and learn at it and become an expert at it. And I want a career path, but I also right now just feel like I want to keep exploring. I'm that college kid with an undecided major who took an art class this semester and is taking a fitness class the next semester and is planning to try out a science class the next semester because I don't know what I like or what I want. And so I have these conflicting goals of just pick something and move up and rise the ranks and learn it, become an expert, gain your income, like just start doing the thing. Or keep exploring, find exactly what you're gonna like, move up when the time is right, and right now just accept that that's not gonna happen and just experiment. I don't know which path is quite right for me. There's also the question of, could I have multiple careers, right? Like I said, right now I'm a project manager and I'm enjoying that. I'm enjoying what I'm doing right now. And if you told me I was going to continue being a project manager for the next 5 years, I'd be like, okay, cool, slay. The next 15 years? I don't know about that. I don't know. I haven't ever done one thing for 15 years. I might feel like I want to do some marketing. I want to do some design. I want to do some user experience work. I want to there's a lot of different things I'm interested in. And I understand the logic of moving up in a career, gaining more experience, that you can do the high level jobs, which are usually the ones that sound more interesting anyway. But I just like more than one thing. And I understand your career isn't always going to be your highest desires in life. Sometimes it's just what you do to make money. And I guess I'm having trouble picking what I want a career to be for me, because there is no one right answer. It's not quite like school, where if you get an A, you're good. If you get a C, you're mid. If you get an F, you failed. It's kind of like you can be as good or as bad at things as you want to be, and as long as your bills are paid, it's up to you what happens in the middle. And I don't know if I want the middle to be mastery of one thing, exploring lots of different things, if I want to keep myself open, if I want to close myself off. I'm undecided. I just don't know. I think sometimes about what will be my next step. Like I said, I like what I'm doing. I plan to keep doing it at least for another year, but I just think what happens after that. I feel like I can't stay in my current job forever. I can't stay in my current job forever because everything is inflating but the wages. I'm reaching a tipping point where it's going to be look, stuff just keeps getting more expensive and I'm not making more money. So we're going to have to shift elsewhere. So I know it's going to come, but I don't know what I'm going to do when it comes. I don't know if I want to continue down the project management path. And right now I'm a account coordinator. So I'm I could get a job as a project manager and move up to mid-level. I could try and go into marketing as a project manager for marketing. I found marketing really interesting. So I could get a marketing coordinator job and that would be entry level, but there's potential for me to still be making more money than I'm making now. I could try and get into UX design again. The first time I tried, it seemed really oversaturated. It's probably still really oversaturated, but I did genuinely like those kinds of explorations and that level of problem solving that existed in UX, so I could look back into that. I could look into maybe getting a mid-level design/marketing role. I find mid-level there's a lot of slash jobs, and I've liked slash jobs in my past because it lets me explore different things. So maybe I could dip my toes back into design, but still get some marketing pay or some copywriter pay or something to kind of bolster myself up and continue to move forward. I could also just try something different. I work at a travel-related company, and occasionally they hire for travel agents or trip directors, and I consider trying that, and that is not a career. That's the thing. That one to me feels like just a job. There's no career. There's nowhere to rise after that. Doing that would just be a pause from any pursuit of a career, but I find it interesting. I find it fun. The job is usually remote, so I could work from anywhere. I'm just why wouldn't I try it if I want to try it? I could try just saying, forget it all, selling everything, moving to France and working as an au pair, a babysitter, an English teacher, and just kind of chill for a year. Not worry about saving or investing or my future or anything, and just make the little money that I need to make to get by and let that be that. I could do a lot of different things. And I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, college kid, undecided major, I'm unclear. But the good thing about it all is that if you are feeling like me and you're feeling unclear about what your future is supposed to be, it's good that we're not actually, I would hope, actually in college with an undecided major. We are not actually spending tens of thousands of dollars every year to not know what we're doing. We're getting paid tens of thousands of dollars every year to not know what we're doing. So if you don't know, as long as you have enough money to pay your bills right now, it's fine that you don't know. It's fine that I don't know. My roof is still over my head. Food still goes in my mouth. So I'm good. I really don't have to worry that much about figuring out the answer right now today. I've always been a right now today, plan it out, make the 5-year plan, get our goals in place, and follow the exact step process. I've always been that kind of girl. But this level of uncertainty that I've carried with me for years has allowed me to really just accept, like let go and let God, kind of. Just let it be. Let it be. It'll be what it is right now. My bills are paid. We'll worry about the rest later. If Trump puts his tariffs in place and ruins my ability to afford anything, if eggs continue to be $10 for the rest of the time, then we'll worry about my next step. And the thing is, all I need to worry about in that instance is my next step. We don't need to plan for 17 years in the future. It's okay to not know. And that's a lot easier said than done for me personally. It's something I struggle with, to just let things be and sort it out later and not have a plan and just operate on vibes. It's really not me, but it's something I'm working on. It's something my therapist has suggested I work on. And it's something I'm gonna have to do because I just don't know the answer. So for right now, the plan is to go wherever the wind blows me. Let whatever happens happen. Like I said, I like my job. I'm planning to stay there. I am not looking for new jobs right now. So whenever the time comes that the finances align in such a way that I have to look for a new job, I will look for whatever is out there. And whoever wants to interview me, whatever opportunity comes to me, that's the opportunity that I will take. I am going to be working on my project manager certification in April. Well, starting in April. I don't know how long it's going to take me, but I'm going to start working on it in April. Why? Because I feel like it'll help me with my job. I feel like I'll learn cool things, and I don't know, like, why not add a certification to my resume? I don't know if project management is the path for me, but since my company will pay for the certification, I'm just going to go ahead and get it, and whatever happens after that is just, like, not my problem. It's up to someone else. I've considered many times getting my master's degree. Many times. Like, oh my gosh, many times. I've even like made the list of all the schools I want to apply to, the application fees, what I need for the applications. Like, I've gotten this close to applying for my master's degree. But the reason I keep not doing it is because I am undecided in life. It does not make sense for me to actually put myself in college knowing that I don't even know what I want to do. I could just get an MBA, same as like an undergrad communications degree, just a general, like, just do whatever with a degree. But why? Why would I spend $50,000 on that? Why? So if you guys ever see me in grad school, please know that it's because I finally picked something. Until then, we're going to stick to certifications. We're going to stick to focusing on the moment. We are going to stick to not worrying about the future. And we are going to let our 20s be our 20s. If you're not in your 20s, that's fine. I just say that because I've heard that you really start to figure things out in your 30s. So the fact that I'm still confused right now in my mid to late 20s, that's fine. Because I'm not in my 30s, so it doesn't matter. And if you are in your 30s, well, time is just going to keep moving. That's something I like to say to myself. The time is going to pass regardless of anything. So there's no sense in worrying about it because it's going to come. The future will always come. It's one constant in life. Time is going to keep moving. So what's the real concern? And if you figure it out at 30, if you figure it out at 40, if you figure it out at 62, who cares? If you figure it out, you figure it out. And congrats to you for doing that. I feel like we're getting a bit rambly. So I think it might be time to stop. But I do want to ask you guys a question that I implore you to answer in the comments. I ask you guys questions and you just ignore me. No, for real this time. For real this time. We're going to go to the comments. We're going to answer this question together, okay? If you are undecided in life, what do you think is your next step right now, in this moment, just to get you from point A to point B? We're not worried about C, D, E, F, G until you die, just point A to point B. For me, it's a project manager certification, and after that, I don't know, I don't know. It's not up to me. I don't know. What is it for you? I would love to know. Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, press subscribe because I am uploading every single week for the month of February, so you will get to see more of me next week. And I will see you guys all next time. I gotta get back to work. So, until then, toodaloo.